With so many animes within the world, I could say that the magical girl genre is one of the most interesting you'll ever see. The reason being is because no matter which one you want to pick, there's always going to be something special about every single one. You can have a series about girls that become superpowered and suddenly they just save the world. But that's personally not my favorite type of magical girl series. Instead, I think it'd be better for you to watch something that has a twist and hides it in plain sight. You saw the thumbnail, Madoka Magica is the exact anime I'm talking about. Spoiler alert now to watch the series because you're not going to get another one. Within this series, they do a great job hiding what it really means to be a magical girl. Gen Urobuchi, the creator of Madoka Magica, does everything in his power to make sure you don't know what's going on, putting fear inside his characters and indirectly making you as an audience feel the same way. So let's start off by talking about what Madoka Magica is. Madoka Magica is a story about girls that live a hard, tough life. And of course, some things in life just don't go as planned. That's simply how it is. However, where the magic steps in is the fact that they all can have a wish. If you do meet the requirements of being a magical girl, which is basically just being a girl and you also are young, you can choose to get your wish granted whatever you really want. However, the sacrifice you get is you will be a magical girl. Of course, there are other requirements hidden within the contract somewhere about being a magical girl. But for most of our main characters, you really hear that you get your wish granted and you just have to be a magical girl, that's it. We see many of the cast members choose to be a magical girl to get their wish granted. Sometimes the characters are selfish, such as Mami, who chooses to not be alone. Now, does she really get that wish? I'm not too sure, it's pretty vague. But of course, because she chose to wish for it, she had to become a magical girl right after that. And of course, some other characters are not selfish at all and choose to use their wish on someone else. You can look at a character like Sayaka, who wanted to heal another boy's arm who she wasn't even with. So whatever your wish is, it can be granted and your powers will reflect off of that said wish. Now, you may think that this is a seller, but of course, this is a show about fear. Meaning there's other underlying factors underneath being a magical girl. So the next question you may be asking is, what does it mean to be a magical girl? Even though it's very difficult for our main characters to understand what a magical girl is, it's not really for the audience. As we mentioned before, you will have your wish granted. If you say what you want properly, then that wish will come true. And the trade-off from getting your wish is going to be becoming a magical girl. Now, a magical girl has certain things that they have to fulfill when they become one. The most important factor is you're going to be fighting a lot of monsters called witches. And with this role, your job is to basically, well, kill them. If they happen to show up, you're expected to exterminate them at any cost. The thing is, even if you do fulfill your duty once or even several times, your job does not end. You see, your job is to continue to exterminate these witches. And if you don't exterminate them, then well, you will become one yourself. It's honestly very cruel when you look at it because it's a way to prey on the young that don't know what's happening. This cycle will continue to repeat itself where someone becomes a magical girl and they have to stop witches. However, if they cannot do their job as well as they should be doing their job, then they will become one themselves. And therefore, another magical girl will come along and have to kill them off too. The good thing that's also not so good, we get to see this cycle from start to finish. Jumping back to Sayaka, we see once she got introduced to being a magical girl. And of course, she got the opportunity to make her wish come true. Now, was this really a good wish? No, but at least it wasn't a selfish wish. Once Sayaka's wish came true, she was now tasked to start killing off other witches. But her dreams start to spiral once she sees what she wished for and not reciprocate the love. And let me just intervene real quick. This is dirty. I mean, your own homegirl's going after the guy that you like and she knows it? I don't know, man. Maybe I'm tripping, but sheesh. And after that, Sayaka's psyche starts to spiral more as she sees that it's not anything to really protect within your city. And finally, you become a witch and suddenly another magical girl has to stop you. It's truly a devastating cycle, but that's what it means to be a magical girl. Now that we're all caught up to what this show actually tries to present, I think you understand what I mean by fear. Many times throughout the story, which I could just display them on screen, there's just so many. Madoka Magica does its best to show us as a viewer that this is not a happy show. Madoka Magica does its best to show us that there is no happiness in being a magical girl. For example, you can look at Mami, who did her best to try to destroy a witch. However, because she was not able to do so, she takes the biggest punishment of losing her life. I mean, if this is not a shocker for us as a viewer, just take a look at how the characters characters in the show reacted. Situations like this happen time and time again in Madoka Magica, and that's just how it is. Fear really rules the world, and what makes it worse is that most people wouldn't even know you exist. While looking at the series, you won't find a character that does not have the potential to be a magical girl that knows about them. Maybe you can point out someone such as Madoka's little brother, but does that really matter? Even characters that would benefit off of a magical girl's wish still push them out as if they don't believe in what's happening. This might be the biggest fear of all, that no one has to believe in what's actually happening within your lives. And maybe that's the overall goal, is to continue a cycle that you're not going to be able to break, especially if most people in the world are not going to believe you if it's even happening. Even though that's more likely just an underlying tale that we can assume what's happening, don't forget, as an audience, we're pressured with many different witches back to back. Because every single time one of the girls falls to despair, we're going to have another witch form. Matter of fact, a majority of the witches you will see in the first episodes of Madoka Magica are girls you'll never see. Well, at least girls within the main series. It kind of becomes a Pokemon gotta catch 'em all scene, because you want to connect a witch to a corresponding girl. And personally, I think you'll have fun finding out what witch is which girl, so do your own research. Now, for sure, there's going to be a lot of them that aren't going to have a corresponding girl anyway, mainly because we don't have enough story to compare them. And plus, there are a lot of other witches that are much bigger and more devastating than some others. I mean, look at the main antagonist of the first season, Walpurg is not. While the community does not know who the host of this witch is still a great design, and also it kind of looks scary. But listen, I can rave time and time again as to why you should be watching Magical Girl series, especially when it comes to a darker series such as this one. But you know, if you have not jumped in on the train yet, then you probably want to do it now. Reason I'm saying this is because we're going to be getting a movie in theaters pretty soon. Not saying to be the end of the series, however, if you did start the series a decade ago, then maybe you'll want to check it out as well. But for now, that's what Madoka Magica is, a show based off of fear. And of course, you'll have to let me know what you think of the series in the comments down below. And if you're looking at what to watch next on this great holiday season, I just told you what you should watch before you die over here. So please, I'll see you guys over there. It's a banger. Y'all have a good one. Peace.